Hi everyone, welcome back to Wegovy After the Sleeve, real life talk. If you're new here, I'm Tracy. I have had gastric sleeve surgery 10 years ago and now I'm on Wegovy. I'm here to share my real Canadian experience with no sponsorships, fluff, and just honesty. Today is week 3 and I'm going to dive into something that makes a huge difference: mindful eating and managing cravings. Mindful eating is basically just slowing down and paying attention to what you're eating. One of the tricks is the first bite awareness trick. So you take that first bite, you pause, you notice the flavor, the texture, the smell, and this instantly slows down your brain and helps you stop automatic eating. The next one would be no screens while eating. Phones and TV disconnect from your fullness. If your attention is on the screen, your stomach can't communicate with your brain properly. Even one distraction-free meal a day can make a big difference. I'm really bad for this. I always eat in front of the TV. Mind you, I'm not the type of person, when I'm watching TV, I'm not really paying attention to the TV. It's more background noise. This is one I should probably try. When I'm looking at goals to do, this is probably a goal for me to work on, is not to eat in front of the TV or while I'm on my iPad. So I'm going to try this one this week. The halfway pause. I talked to you about this last week, stopping halfway between your meal, waiting a few minutes. Well, what I want you to do when you're waiting that few minutes is ask yourself, do I want more or do I need more? So is it want or need? This breaks autopilot eating as well and prevents overeating, especially helpful on Wegovy, where fullness can sneak up on you quite quickly. Chew 10 to 20 times before swallowing. Most of us chew way too fast. I'm one of them. As I said, I don't like the feel of the food in my mouth when it's been chewed too much. But chewing it more can prevent the nausea, it helps digestion, and it makes meals more satisfying. Gives your brain time to register the fullness. This helped after the sleeve, and it helps now, but like I said, I tend to do I chew it on the lower side, the 10 side, and I just not making sure I'm not swallowing big chunks. Another one is smell your food. Think about that, like fresh baked bread, and you smell that fresh baked bread and how good it tastes, and you know it's going to taste good. So smell your food. It activates your hunger cues before you even take a bite. You can feel full faster and the cravings will drop. So it's going to taste so good that you're going to actually eat less, because you're going to savor that food, not just gulp it down. Another trick is to set your fork down between bites. So if you're doing my trick where I wait the 20 to 30 seconds, put your fork down and wait that 20 or 30 seconds. Have a conversation, ask a question to somebody. If you're eating alone, just think about something. Think about that hunger. Are you hungry? Are you full? Anything like that. Another one is don't put serving dishes on the table. I always keep my serving dishes on the counter or on the stove, and we go up to them and fill our plates from the stove. It makes a big difference so that it avoids you seeing the food on the table and like, oh, I want some more of that. It tasted so good. So you're not really, again, that head hunger where you don't really want it. It looks good, it tastes good, you want more. So it's going to help prevent you from going for seconds when you don't really want them. Another big one is to check your mood before you're eating. So are you under stress or feeling stressed? Are you bored? Are you doing this as a reward? Like, I had a great day at work today. I got that raise. I'm going to have a piece of cake to celebrate. Well, try rewarding yourself with something that isn't food related. Like, you got that, go out and buy yourself an outfit, or like I did, and I bought myself some lotion for doing my goals. But it could also be a habit. Do you have a habit like I do of eating in the evening or coming home from work, and that's just a habit because I always did shift work, having my dinner the second I walk in the door? Try and wait a little while. But naming the emotion weakens the craving almost instantly. You need to identify your danger zones. As I just mentioned, late night eating, after work, grocery shopping. When you're grocery shopping, don't go with an empty stomach. It does work when you go with something in your stomach. You're not going to buy all the stuff that is calling to you, all the junk food. Shop the outside of the aisles, and I go on the inside for a couple little things, but overall it's the outside of the aisles. Does watching TV make you crave food? Or scrolling through videos? When you know the pattern, you can interrupt it. I've mentioned before about drinking water, not drinking water more than 30 minutes before, but make sure you drink that water 30 minutes before eating so that it hydrates your stomach and helps reduce overeating. It also helps reduce the nausea while on Wegovy. Instead of having restrictive rules, set boundaries. They can make you feel more empowered instead of feeling bad because you couldn't stay out of the chips. For example, I have a bag of chips, I get a bowl, and I pour those chips into the bowl and put the bag of chips away, and that is my snack. I don't need any more after that. If I really, really can't stand it, I go for another bowl, but usually that will do me. Sit down to eat, and remember that dessert is intentional. Plan for that dessert, but don't eat it just because it's impulsive, like because you had a great day and you deserve that dessert. So that's ideas of setting boundaries. Plan your food when you're not hungry. So plan your meals. Like I plan my dinner sometimes. I'll say, okay, what do I want for dinner tomorrow night? Or I'll do it in the morning. What do I want for dinner tonight? And I'll take it out of the freezer so it freezes or thaws. And then I plan my meal around the protein. And same with my breakfast and lunch, especially on my work days. I plan what I'm going to have and I make it ahead of time. So for me, Mondays, because I have Fridays to Mondays off, on Mondays will pre-plan what I'm going to take from the rest of the week and make that up. Like last week I made breakfast sandwiches homemade instead of buying a McMuffin. I made my own with egg, bacon, and cheese. It was delicious. So even planning loosely, like choosing dinner earlier in the day, just keeps your cravings in check. You know what you're going to have, and you're not going to be tempted to order in pizza or go out for fast food because you don't feel like doing anything. Another trick I use, because I get tired in the evening, prep that food. Prep what you can during the day or the night before, so that again, you know what you're going to have, and don't want it to go to waste. Hence, you're not going to eat out. Excuse me. Another thing is don't have liquids while you're eating. Eating smaller amounts means you're getting less nutrients out of your food, and you want to get those nutrients. Drinking while eating can wash the food out of your stomach and before you can absorb those nutrients. So, especially after the sleeve. This might be more of a sleeve issue, but I think it's a good thing to think about because you are eating a lot less while you're on Wegovy. Next thing we're going to discuss is your cravings and understanding the 3 types of hunger. So the first type of hunger is stomach hunger. It's real physical hunger. It feels like a gentle emptiness, a light rumbling in your stomach, slowly builds up. Your energy's getting low because it's been a long time since you ate. Your body's low on fuel, and your hormones are saying it's time for me to eat. So how do you know it's real? Because you'll want to eat anything that is, if you say, okay, I'm going to have eggs or chicken or soup or veggies, you're going to have that healthy food. You're not going to go for the junky food and stuff. You're going to, if you think of those healthy foods, it's going to be, yeah, that sounds great. I'm going to have that. So I keep a bunch of hard-boiled eggs in my fridge for times like that, so I can have just a hard-boiled egg. Head hunger is emotional or mental hunger. Are you feeling stressed? Are you bored? Anything like that. So comes on suddenly. It's a very specific craving, and it's linked to boredom, stress, and loneliness. It's urgent. I want something now. It happens even when you're full. So it's like, you had a long day, I deserve a treat. I'm bored, what's in the kitchen? Now this is a funny story. I got it off of a YouTube, or not a YouTube, a app on my phone when I had my sleeve surgery done. I can't get it anymore. But one of the techniques they said for craving foods, and it's quite a funny one, is when you're going in that thing where you're wondering what's in the kitchen, you're opening all those cupboard doors in the fridge. Well, when you open that cupboard door, imagine a red ball coming out and bonking you in the head every time you open a cupboard. It sounds funny, and it is funny, but it actually works, because I think the humor, just gets your mind off of that stress and stuff. But it's a fun one to do, and I do it. It's quite fun. So Wegovy helps with this the most because of helping with the thoughts in your head about food. So it does help, but habits do still show up. They're not gone just because you're not thinking about them as much. The other one is mouth hunger. It's a sensory, or your taste. This comes from your taste buds, not your stomach or your head. It feels like you want something even if you know you're full. It's triggered by smells, ads, cooking, shows, or something else someone's eating. You're craving that crunchy, salty, sweet, cold, or warm texture. Often it happens right after a meal. Some examples are, I need something sweet after dinner, smelling popcorn and suddenly wanting it, or craving crunchy foods during a TV show. It's about the texture and the flavor, not true hunger. So the trick is telling them apart quickly. So you can ask yourself, would I eat a piece of chicken, eggs, or vegetables right now? If the answer is yes, then you know it's real hunger, it's stomach hunger. If you answer no, I want a specific food, then you know it's your head or mouth hunger. If you answer no, but I want something and you just don't know what it is, it's salty, crunchy, sweet, mouth hunger. You want comfort food, then it's head hunger, because you got to have that comfort food that you love, and that's head hunger because you're all stressed out and whatever. Why this matters on Wegovy and after the sleeve: both tools reduce physical hunger, so most eating is now emotional, sensory, and habit-based. Understanding the difference helps break old patterns, especially after regaining the weight like I did. A couple of things that are fresh craving busting strategies. I mentioned the thing about open the cupboard and have the ball hit you in the head. Move around for 1 to 2 minutes. Go find something to do. Go, I don't know, just do something for 1 or 2 minutes. Get up and move. Do some jumping jacks. Run in place. I don't know. Whatever you can do to move. The movement breaks the craving loop instantly. If you really want that snack, swap the texture for not just food. So if you want something crunchy, have veggies or light popcorn. Sweet, berries or yogurt. Salty, some pickles, some olives. And this one works really well for me, is the 10-minute delay. Wait 10 minutes before giving into that craving. Most of the time the craving will fade. If it doesn't, then I go back through that list and I figure, okay, well, what kind of hunger is it? What can I do? But most of the time it'll fade. It might come back an hour later and I do the same step. So most of the time that'll work. The odd time I do that 3-4 times and I finally give in and go and have something. But most of the time that 10-minute thing does work. So now we're on to my week 3 update and how I did. So this week I weighed myself today and I was down to 227 pounds, which is a total of 4 pounds lost at the end of 3 weeks. I completed my week 3 goals and rewarded myself with this nice body lotion from Bed Bath & Beyond. And I also wanted to mention that this week was harder on me this week because I had a PMR flare. I was in a lot of pain, but I still forced myself to move. I went to the gym and I did my walking. and it was painful, but I felt better after doing it. It was that morning just forcing myself to get up and move. So as far as my bowel movements went, they were good. I still have less appetite and less cravings. I'm eating only when I'm hungry and stopping when I'm comfortably full. The nausea is getting much better. Did have a couple of dizzy spells the last couple of days, which could be either vertigo or from the side effect of the medication, because I do have an issue with vertigo. This week was also the first week that I had trouble with a craving. And I was sitting in a car with my lunch beside me. I'd finished it and stopped when I was comfortably full. And about a half hour later, it started calling to me because I knew there was stuff left in the bag. And it's like, oh, I want to eat the rest of that. And I think I had smoked salmon that day for lunch, and there was like 4 pieces left. And I really wanted the rest of that salmon. And so I was sitting there and I did that 10-minute thing and it worked. Then that feeling came back. Then I got out of the car and I walked around on the ferry a little bit that I was on. Came back and I managed to not give in to that craving. It was hard, but I didn't. I finished it and I waited until I was actually hungry again, and I didn't eat until my drive home, again at 5 p.m., and then I finished the salmon and my other stuff I'd taken for lunch on my way home in rush hour traffic. So that was a big win for me because that took a lot of effort. Closing up for today, I wanted to thank you for joining me in week 3 and listening to me about the mindful eating. It isn't perfect. Some days we get it right, some days we don't. But every intentional choice builds new habits, especially when you've had the sleeve and you're on Wegovy. Let me know in your comments if you've had your biggest trigger time, or let me know in the comments when your biggest trigger times are and what time of day you find mindful eating habit might work. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on week 4 as we keep going on this real life journey together. Thanks. Bye.